sentenced to be hanged in Pretoria in 1979 at the age of 22. When the judge made it clear that you, Solomon Mahlangu, you are going to die slowly by hanging, his mother was also present there, and she was crying big time for her son was about to be hanged. That's what Mahlangu turned to his mother and say in the quote, "Mother, do not cry for me, but cry for those who are still suffering, because my blood will nourish the tree of freedom. Tell my people that I love them." The Robben Island group, there's B, and then there's an A. To show this gentleman was ultimately an A group. Go to kind of visits. If you're D group, you entitled to 1 visit per month. If you're C group, 2 visits per month. And if you're B group, 3 visits per month. And of course, if you're in A group, you're entitled to 4 visits a month. Choice but to have meat or corn. Meat. The Indians and the colors were given 6 ounces per person, but the black colored prisoners were given 5 ounces per person. One person per cell, which was used as a punishment section for those prisoners who were found to be violating prison regulations. Down there is the main entrance of this prison. There are offices like reception office, census office, where all our letters were censored, as well as the study office. This gentleman here, Dr. V.J. Ramlakan from Durban, KwaZulu-Natal. This gentleman here, Mr. Dr. Sbongiseni, were together with them here in this prison. They were arrested as already medical practitioners when they were arrested. This one is late now. Yes, pass on. This one is still alive. They're in Durban. You have to help us a lot with medical advices. And the climate of this place is extreme. When the winter was freezing cold and the summer was burning hot. Before we explained what you guys call global warming. But when I was in this prison, extreme climate, as a result, prisoners contracted diseases like asthma, arthritis, tuberculosis. All those prisoners with chronic diseases were confined in this building. Communal cells were for prisoners who were found to have chronic diseases like asthma, tuberculosis. But single cells were for those prisoners who were found to be mentally disturbed because of torture and detention. And those who were coming from the death row, when they escaped the gallows, when they came here, they developed psychotic problems. They were confined in the single cells. Opposite this section is B section. That's where all our leaders were confined. Please follow me. We are now in B section. The single cell section, one person per cell. That's where all our leaders were confined. Leaders of the PAC, the Pan-Africanist Congress, leaders of the ANC, the African National Congress, leaders of the BCM, Black Quakers Movement. A leader of SWAP was also in this place. Unity Movement, Federal Party, you name them. They are all in this place. This is the photo of this place, B section courtyard. Here, prisoners were crushing stones during that period of hard labor. This place was known as the place of work. They built this concrete tennis court in 1973. This is Mr. Nelson Mandela and his great mentor, great confidant, Walter Sisulu. They are both late now. The photo was taken in 1966. From the Black Pole downwards used to be the garden of Mr. Nelson Mandela. That's where the manuscript was found buried. Fortunately, that manuscript, it was the second manuscript, because the first manuscript was already smuggled out of this prison with the sons of a lawyer. When Mr. Mac Maharaj was released in this prison in 1976, he then transported that manuscript to London, where it was printed and published as in the book titled Long Walk to Freedom by Mr. Nelson Mandela. But why the book was published in London? Remember, here at home, we were a band organization. But why in London? Because remember, London had a very strong anti-apartheid movement the world over. But why a white lawyer in particular was used to smuggle out the manuscript? You know, in this prison, as I told you, we're allowed to have visits. We had two types of visits. We had your usual social visit, visited by relatives, friends, and parents, and we had legal visit, visited by lawyers. Always go for legal visits, and they will target white lawyers in particular. But why white lawyers? Because down there at the visitor center, when the guards will be searching the lawyers, only search black lawyers, colored lawyers, Indian lawyers, but not white lawyers. I'm gonna exploit it. Smuggling Long Walk to Freedom. This is the cell of Mr. Nelson Mandela. You may then take time to take some photos. You be at the chance and take your time. Remember, Mandela was in this prison from 1964 up to 1982. 18 years in this place. Because in 1982, he was taken to Portsmouth prison. That's where he spent another 7 years. From Portsmouth prison to Victor Verster in Paarl, where he spent his last 2 years before he was released in 1990, February 11. The years spent in prison in total, he spent 27 years in prison. This is the end of our tour. Any questions? Gentlemen, do you have a question? Cameraman, do you have a question? Yeah? Do you have a question?
No.
No question. How much going to pay me for taking all my tour? For recording all this tour, how much going to pay me? Yeah?
$1 million?
$1 million? Yeah. Could do better than that. Me too.
Okay.
In conclusion, we really thank you for taking your time and visit. Thank you very much. Goodbye and God bless.
Thank you, sir.
Please follow me. Please follow me. Thank you very much. Yes, 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 I did, yes. Now, thank you for coming and visit. Short walk to freedom.